Happy Monday, my bookish peeps. Let's check out how many books I've read this week and how close I am to my reading goal. So for the first book for this week, it was an audiobook. I did end up listening to The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. So fair warning, I did read this in romantic order. This was not the first book of the Throne of Glass series that I have read. This is actually going to be the fourth one that I have read. So I will be reviewing this as if you guys have read it in romantic order. Either way, this book gets 5 stars in my opinion. It is comprised of several novellas featuring Selena or Aileen. I can't say it. I don't know how to say it. I haven't heard it in an audiobook yet to know how to say it. It is comprised of when she was an assassin, hence the title. It has stories about her saving everyday people. There are stories about her doing some major heists. There also is, spoiler alert, a lot of stuff about her and Sam and how their relationship came to be. And also, spoiler alert, how he died. In the end, we end up seeing Selena get arrested and sent over to Endovier. And so, we get to the beginning of Throne of Glass. Again, 5 stars in my book. It was very nice to see her before she was sent to Endovier, to see how much of a badass she was, and then kind of see how it ties into Throne of Glass. I feel like if I did read this as the first book, I don't think I would have understood half the stuff that was going on as opposed to reading the first 3 books and then The Assassin's Blade. Either way, I'm super excited to get into Queen of Shadows next. So before we get to the next book, I just wanted to announce that I actually was accepted as an influencer for Handbright PR for Instagram. What is nice about this is that I do get to get some exclusive arcs now. So for my next book, it was an exclusive arc that I got for Handbright, which was called What I Should Have Said by Max Monroe. And I'm going to say this is completely unbiased of me, but this book got another 5 stars. I can also tell you that I don't cry with books, but this one, it got me crying at the end. And it wasn't because I didn't know what was going to happen, but I fell so much in love with these characters that the pain and the sorrow that they went through at the end, it just it tore me up. And it felt like it was so relatable. So we begin the story with the Red and White Bride. Her name is Nora Ellis. She is handed a manila envelope and it says, "The truth will set you free." And we don't know the contents of this manila envelope yet, but we do know that this causes her to completely just end her engagement and run away to a small town called Redbridge. So she's dropped off at this bus stop. She looks over, and Redbridge does not have a red bridge anymore. It is Yellow Bridge. And this girl's wearing designer clothes. Her boots are not made for walking. And so she kind of gets tired halfway trying to walk all the way over to this small little town. She sees a truck driving by. She literally steps in front of this truck, waving her hands around and saying, "Help, I need a ride." And this truck is driven by none other than Bennett Bishop, the resident grump. A fight ensues. Not necessarily a fight, it was more of a small disagreement. And Bennett ends up dropping her off in the middle of town before she can reach her destination and just leaves her. And I won't go into any more depth, but this is definitely an enemies to lovers book. But stick around for it. It is very funny, and it is very emotional at the end. And I can tell you, it's been almost a week since I've read this book, and I am still constantly thinking about it. And I feel like I'm just getting emotional just thinking about this book. But honestly, that's what makes the best books, is when you're constantly thinking about it and that you feel all these emotions with them. The third book that I read was actually an audiobook again, called Mirror Mirror by Jen Kalanita. If you've been following my Instagram or Goodreads or whatever social media you happen to be following me on, you will know that I've been actually been reading the Twisted Tales series off and on in between the books that I'm reading. This one in particular, if you can't tell by the title, it is about Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. I've been kind of going between 3 and 4 stars with some of the Twisted Tales series. They're very good series, but it's just sometimes the story just isn't that great. And it has nothing to do with the authors. It's just the particular Disney movies that I may like or not like. This one in particular, Snow White wasn't my favorite movie, but the story that came with it that Kalanita wrote gave me a 4 stars because we got to get a lot of backstory on Ingrid, who is the evil queen. We also got to learn about Snow White's background and how her parents were king and queen, and that she is considered the lost princess. But probably my favorite part was that backstory about Ingrid, the evil queen, and how she got these powers from the mirror. And by the way, guys, it's not Prince Charming anymore, it's Henry. And another thing that, in general, for the Twisted Tales series, is that these Disney princesses, they become a strong female heroine. And I am all for that. So anyways, 4 stars for me, and I'm definitely going to be reading more of these Twisted Tales series. And final and 4th book that I read this week, I had a busy weekend and I was busy cleaning and doing laundry the whole time, so I had my audiobook going the whole time. The final book that I read this week was Circe by Madeline Miller. This book is our 2nd book of the month through Bookish Besties. I'm going to admit that I did give it 3 stars, but I don't think that was because of the author. I think it's kind of like me personally. The problem is that I don't know much about Greek mythology, and so there were some parts that I just couldn't get into and that I couldn't quite follow. So honestly, I think it's my fault. I think I just need to do more research, or maybe I should have taken the book a little bit slower to do some research in between. But I did love the whole storyline of Circe kind of like being the ugly duckling, the one who didn't necessarily have powers. But then when she finally has her own personal space, she grows like a flower. She finds these powers and she's able to kind of do a lot of great stuff with it. So 3 stars for Circe. And that brings my total to a total of 99 books out of 150 for the year. So close to 100 books for the year. Okay, baby boy is awake, so you guys might hear some baby noises in the background. So I don't know exactly what my Goodreads goal was for last year, but I'm pretty sure I passed it by now. So what is this week gonna bring with reading? I know that I have 2 more book of the months that I need to read. I do have Ice Planet Barbarians and The Summer She Went Missing, which that one I do still have a 12-week wait on Libby, so I may just end up getting an audiobook version because I do have some extra credits on Audible. I've also, if you guys can't even really see the background, it's all blurred, but I do still have Anastasia, my physical book, to get through because I've just been so absorbed in my Kindle lately. But I do really want to get through that today because I only have maybe like 70-ish pages left in there. And finally get some headway through expiration dates, which you guys can also kind of see right there. There is also the final book of the Virgin River series. I've had the audiobook on my Libby for a while now, and it is called Return to Virgin River. And I just honestly just been holding off on it because I really don't want this series to end. As for content, obviously I'm doing some right now, but for Instagram, I really want to work on some book aesthetics today, maybe throughout the week, and work on some more of my templates. I also kind of want to brainstorm ideas to make my Instagram more fun and more engagement. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see what I read this week, or if you want to learn more about deals or reviews or anything like that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on that bell so you don't miss another video.